Anyways, I wanted to welcome you first here. My name is John Florescu. You may know me or not. This is Bob Ferran, who's one of our co-investors in this company called Kubis. Kubis Interactive. It took about, I'd say, where's Vlad Popovich?
Here.
It took Vlad Popovich. Here's our deputy and our top guy here. But it took us about 3 months to figure out the title, the name of the company. Everybody rejected the name. But finally we got it together. Someone earlier asked me, why would you be opening up a company in the middle of a recession, which does seem a little counterintuitive, but we're very confident about what we're doing here. And here we have upstairs Kubis. We also have with us a sister company, Matthew Design. He runs Epidemic. Is Matthew anywhere around here?
Drinking the Jack.
He's drinking in the corner. And Matthew comes from an advertising background. He started Epidemic, and he was, most people know him here from his days from JWT and J Century, and then he was in the Middle East, in Kuwait and Dubai, was it?
Yeah.
And Dubai. How we got here is kind of an interesting story. We have some experience in advertising, and we noticed a little more than a year ago that we kept on hearing more and more about how this market seemed to be developing, not just here, but of course around the world. We're all very much aware of that. In fact, I remember many years ago, I was in the television business, and we had an interview with Bill Gates in Washington. And when I was introduced to Gates, he recognized that my last name was Romanian. And he said, "Oh, you're Romanian of origin." I said, "Yeah, that's right." And he said, "Oh, I have tons of Romanians at Microsoft." I said, "Oh, that's interesting." He says, "I have so many Romanians that we have a whole Romanian cafeteria only with Romanian food, only for Romanian employees." And he was really pointing to something that became so obvious to us, that the talent in software and programming and in the digital areas and this whole space was populated with gifted Romanians. So when we had this idea working in our minds and seeing it exploding around the world, we went to two big media companies, one based in London and another in Boston, and said, we think that, how do you organize yourself around the world in terms of providing digital and advertising, design, advertising services? And they said, "Oh, well, we have people in Costa Rica, we have people here, we have people there." And I said, "Well, we know one place fairly well, which is Romania, and we think they're hugely skillful and hugely talented." Now, I should say immediately, as VRL Chisar would know, that I'm not a technology man, and Mihai knows that. So I will not get baited into any questions on technology. But what we did spot was a tremendous opportunity, even in a difficult economy, even in a difficult environment. People say, well, why would anybody want to take any chances, any risks on spending money? And the answers is almost as obvious as the question. That obviously, by getting into digital advertising, you get into a world which is which is for little cost access. In other words, the cost of getting into digital advertising is fairly small compared with media costs for big television stations, or somewhat unknowable value of radio, and obviously we know the somewhat unknowable value of newspapers. Certainly around the world, the newspaper business is going through a tremendous strain. In the United States, there are cities that have lost their print editions. They don't even exist anymore, but it's all online. So we got together with Bob, and we said, "Listen, Bob, we think there's an opportunity here. Let's get something going." We had the enormous pain of choosing a name, of finding a place, and then finding the people. And finding the people, as we all know in this media business, is always the most difficult part. And Bob is going to talk a little bit about that search that he undertook with Vlad behind me. So to go back to what we thought about why we think this medium is going to work. I said you can get in inexpensively. The second obvious thing, it's measurable. You can pay for your progress. You can count your clicks. You can count your purchases. And this, again, has tremendous value when people are keeping their eye on dollars that are getting more scarce.